Alrighty, let's get this started. This is the Microsoft 365 Virtual Marathon, Introduction to Power Virtual Agents. I am David Broussard, Principal Consultant. My Twitter handle is @dbroussa. And you are currently at the Microsoft 365 Virtual Marathon. There we go. Good. Make sure we mark our calendars while this is going on this year, May 26th and 27th for the next, 24 hours or so. Next year in March, we'll be back in Vegas, and go to m365conf.com to find out where all of that is. And we want to give a special thank you to all of our generous sponsors at the platinum, gold, and silver level for making this all happen. And a special thanks to all of the volunteers who are currently manning multiple machines while going ahead and setting up everything. Are you ready for a raffle? Well, make sure we're giving away 3 Oculus Quests all-in-ones, and we want to make sure that you have a chance to go ahead and do that. Make sure you submit your answers to enter the raffle. You'll need at least, and you see they're going ahead on me. They have the timings turned on. So visit the vendor's booth, the sessions, watch the videos, submit your answers to enter the raffle. You'll need at least 5 correct answers. And then you can submit for a chance to win one of 3, one in the Americas, one in APAC, one in EMEA, of these Oculus Quest, Oculus Quest all-in-ones. I've got an Oculus Go. I would love to have an Oculus Quest. That sounds really cool. One other thing to take a look at is that we are going to be going out and funding some community relief. So consider donating either the United Way or the International Medical Corps. That gives you a couple of ways that during this time we can take some of our largesse, if we have any, and help people that are out there. So what are we going to cover today? So first, my introduction and speaker profile. Then we're going to talk about what are bots and how do we use these every day in our lives. Then we're going to talk about bot development using Visual Studio. Now we're going to talk about that. I'm not going to develop any bots using Visual Studio. This is about Power Virtual Agents. So then we're going to talk about, obviously, Power Virtual Agents, which is our codeless bot development. And then I get some sources, I've got some links, I've got some contact information. So allow me to introduce myself. My name is David Broussard. I live near San Antonio, Texas, in the United States of America. I am a principal consultant with Catapult Systems, and I've been there for 12 years and 10 months, almost 13 years now. I am an M365 evangelist and a Microsoft Teams tech lead for the productivity practice inside of Catapult Systems. I am also the co-host of the Cloud Whisperers podcast, and you can find us on all your favorite podcasting things out there. We're on SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, the whole 9 yards. I was born in Athens, Georgia, and while you can see that picture of me with my grizzled look on there, you can see I'm clean shaven over here. That was my Movember picture that I took at the end of Movember, but I thought it was a pretty good view, so I've kind of kept it as my profile photo. All right, so what is a bot anyway? Well, obviously bot is short for robot, and a robot is a device that we can resemble human actions and movement. In our case, we're really talking about chatbots. And a chatbot is a bot that's designed to simulate talking to a person along a different set of channels. Could be email, could be instant message, a lot of different ways. And it's one of the ways that we have out there to communicate with each other. And we've probably seen them all over the place. In fact, bots are becoming more and more relevant across everywhere we go. If we've been out shopping recently or been to a fast food place, you've probably been out and faced up with a bot. In fact, according to eWeek, about 2 out of 5, right? So about 40% of retail customers are willing to have an automated interaction with a chatbot. Now that's chatbots. That doesn't get into the fact that if you go to a McDonald's or any other fast food place these days, you can actually find a line to get to the kiosks when there might even be people available at the cashier as a human interaction. If you go shopping at a grocery store, you're going to find automatic checkout machines like this one. And if you go eat at many a restaurant, there's a Ziosk or similar group that's sitting there that allows you to order your drinks, pay, everything like that without ever having to leave your table. Those are bots that we see every day. Now, What about bots in the enterprise? Well, there are lots of activities in the enterprise that we could automate via a bot. For example, what about help desk requests, like frequently asked questions or open a ticket or order new equipment? Those are all things that we could do with a bot instead of actually going out and having to make them actually send an email out or actually interface with somebody directly. What about finding experts? I could actually set up a bot that allows people to go out there and say, I need to find somebody to do X. And we could take us down a path until we route them to the correct person for that specific task. We could also integrate with ERP systems and have the ERP system send notifications out. We can do that today with connectors and things like Teams and Groups. We could have bots doing approvals or even tagging of metadata. What about translations? I have some content. I don't know what it is. Let me send it to a bot, have it figure out what the language is and send it back to me. What about routine task management? If you've been using Outlook, you might have made use of something called Find Time. Find Time is a pretty cool tool out there. It's technically a bot. We send it and say, I need these people. I need to go out and set up a meeting. It does all of the work for us behind the scenes. Social media integration. Bots are often used to take care of things like Twitter or Facebook or other social media places for organizations to automate responses to questions. So these are all places that we can make use of bots in the enterprise. So let's talk about how bots are developed, right? So bot development. One of the ways we develop bots, and the traditional way of doing it, is using Visual Studio. Now, to do that, you had to go out and download the Azure Bot Service SDK. You would create a bot project in Visual Studio, and the bot project was actually pretty neat. Just by creating a bot project, it created the endpoints, it enabled you to receive a response from a channel. You then were responsible for crafting a response that you sent back out of the channel. And it created an emulator so you can go do some testing as well as like that. Now, you have to deploy that bot out to Azure or some other application server so that people can actually get to it. And it requires you that you know how to code. That means you have to know C# or some other .NET language, and you probably need to know about cognitive services like LUIS-D, the Language Understanding Information System Mark IV or D. The reason you need all of that is you get whatever the person typed, and then you've actually got to take that, you've got to parse what they said, and then figure out, once you've parsed out that they've said, oh, I want to open up a help desk ticket, you then have to take that and decide how you want to deal with it. Now, there's some frameworks out there that automated a number of those things out there, and there's a lot of samples out on GitHub and elsewhere. I've got the link right here to the GitHub area that you can go out and take a look at a number of the different places that are out there. But it still required real development, real coding, and that always doesn't fit for every organization. So along comes Power Virtual Agents. Now, Power Virtual Agents is a Microsoft 365 add-on license that enables us to create no-code bot solutions. Now, that's pretty cool. That means we don't need Visual Studio. We don't even have to know how to do any of that stuff. It's all arranged around the concept of topics. And what happens is the bot engine will listen to trigger phases that are associated with a topic, and then the topic will drive how that bot responds. Topics can make calls out to other systems like Power Automate or Azure applications like Azure Active Directory. And if you're using the bot SDK 4.7 or greater, you can actually go out and create skills for these bots, and you can have the topics go ahead and make use of those skills as well. If anybody has an Amazon, an Alexa at home or a Google, those also have skills that you can embed. It's the same basic concept. Now, these topics what's great about them is I can direct you to other topics as well as these integrations, and I can even escalate to a human agent. Now, what that means when we're escalating to a human agent, by the way, that means we're actually sending them off to Dynamics 365. So, but I can do that. I can take an incoming call, I can email or chat, and when it goes to the point where they want to talk to somebody, they can say, I want to talk to a human, and I'll send them over to somebody who's running Dynamics 365. I can then take my bot and I can very easily publish it across multiple channels. I can put it on a website, I can put it in a mobile app, I can load it into Facebook Messenger, I can use Cortana, I can embed it in Teams, I can hook it into email and a whole bunch of other applications that are out there. Very easy to go out and do. All right, so I've explained how Power Virtual Agents are so vastly superior to building bots in the SDK, right? Because I don't really want to write C# code. That's just not me. So we're going to do this now. What does this look like? All right, how do we sign up for Power Virtual Agents? Well, you can go out to powervirtualagents.microsoft.com, and when you go there, it's going to actually give you a website where you can say, I want to start a free trial. That free trial will last, I think it's 60 or 90 days, I forget which one it is, but it gives you a period of time and you can go out and build bots. You have to select your country, start your free trial, you're going to name your bot, set where it's going to store its information, and it takes about 15 minutes to get set up, and then you can start creating your topics. So step number one, I'm going to drag over here my window. I am sitting here in a brand new Office 365 tenant that I've never done Power Virtual Agents, and I'm going to say I want to start a free trial. I simply click on the button. It's going to go out and say, hey, here we are. Go ahead and give me your work address. And so to do that, because I should have had that already open and I forgot, let me grab that work address. Oh, you're really going to do that to me, aren't you? Hang on a second. I got to grab the right one. I thought I had this open. I didn't have it open. Let me go pull up the work address on this one. But all we've really got to do is go out and type in that work address. So here it is, and say sign up. It's going to go out and say, hey, you've already got an account. Sign in with your work account. I'm going to go ahead and say type in that particular password. I'm going to go ahead and drop that down here. Say sign in. It says great. Now it's taking me through and say okay. Oh, actually, I think I put the wrong credentials in. That's fine. Let me try doing that. Anyway, the next piece it's going to take me into is the actual Power Virtual Agents area. Now, in this case, I've already got a license assigned to it because I put in the wrong credentials. Yep, I put in the wrong tenant credentials. All right, so I'm going to close this down. You would go out and put in your name of your bot and set up your data storage, and then you're ready to start going. So let's actually go ahead and take a look at that. Now, what I've done here is I've actually gone ahead and I've got a new environment. I've got an environment that I have, and I'm going to pull it over here so we can take a look at it. And this is what it looks like once you get into here. Now, I've had this particular session for a while. Okay, as you can see, it tells me my free trial is going to expire in 5 days. If you want to know what it's going to cost, well, I'll show you. It's not cheap. Power Virtual Agents are $1,000 per tenant per month. Right? That's $12,000 a year. So this is not cheap, and this is the only licensing price that Microsoft has for this. For that, you get 2,000 sessions per tenant per month inside of Power Virtual Agents. And so you've got the ability to go ahead and use those bots, and you can buy additional add-on capacity on top of it. So it's not inexpensive, but it's incredibly powerful. All right, so in my situation here, I've actually created what's called Testing Bot. But we're going to go ahead and create a new bot for our purposes today. So I'm going to pop back over here, and I've gone through signing up for the Power Virtual Agents. Now we're going to talk about topics. Okay. First, I need to create my new bot. Over here, you'll see I have a bots panel, and I can go over here and say, look, I've already got Testing Bot. That's the one that I created when I first signed up for my trial. I'm going to create a new bot right now. And it's going to say, hey, it needs to go out and look at the common data service because that's where the bot is actually persisting all of this information. So I'll wait for this thing to go out and actually load its environment up, and then we'll go ahead and set up my environment for this particular demonstration. And of course, it's taking forever to do that. There we go. I'm going to call this bot M365 VM. And you notice that I can choose which environment in CDS that I actually want to leave this inside. I'm going to leave it inside my Catapult Systems demo environment right now, and I'll hit create. And it's going to go out and actually build this bot. And we get this really cool animation of the little Power Virtual Agent bot as it goes through and puts everything together. So it's going out and putting all of the places together for me to actually go out and create my bot. Once my bot is created, it'll be pre-populated with a set of topics that we can use. Now, remember, I told you topics are actually kind of the important aspect of how bots actually interact. So for our purposes right now, let's pop back over here. And you can see the topic screen over there. It shows you what all the topics are. And what's also neat about this is Microsoft actually includes a set of topics for you that are actually a tutorial on how to build bots. Now, a topic defines what the conversation will be about and also the trigger phrases. So you can see there is a topic called greeting, and it goes out and has 52 trigger phrases, things like good afternoon, good morning, hello, that kind of thing. These system topics are reusable components that you can combine with your topics so that a topic can be triggered by a trigger phrase, and then you can have it pass off to another topic. The whole way this is designed to work is I have a trigger phase that initiates some conversation and then some action happens. So let's go ahead and pop back over to my bot screen, and you can see here is my overall topic area. So I can go to my topics by clicking here or clicking in the topics section over here, and you're going to see I have a series of topics that have been created for me automatically. Let's take a look at the greeting topic just to start with. The greeting topic here is actually going to show me, this is the one I had before. This is for the default greeting with a chat when a chat begins. And it goes out and looks for a series of hellos, hello virtual agent, hello, good morning, all these different kinds of things. These are triggers that when it goes off, the topic will actually respond. So what does that actually look like? Let's go take a look at what this topic looks like in the authoring area. And you'll see this authoring area is very visual, very easy to use. Here are my trigger phases. Once the trigger phase is recognized, it's going to come down here and say, and in a message, hi, I'm a virtual agent. I can help you with account questions, orders, store information, and more. If you'd like to speak to a human agent, let me know anytime. So what can I help you with today? And then it's done. So let's take a look at what this, I've got this ability to test my bot. This is actually pretty cool. Right inside of the environment, I can test this. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to say, good afternoon. Oops. Now I've said good afternoon. The bot is going to look for that response and then it's going to respond back to me. I think good afternoon was one of the ones. Yep, there it is. I'm getting the response back from my bot now. It's thinking about it. Sometimes it's really, really fast. Sometimes it's a little bit slower. It's deciding to be a little bit slow right now for some reason. And you can see that it's actually taking me through my entire canvas as it does its responses over here, that I can use this to debug along the way. And so you can see I got the responses back, okay? So that's the first piece of all of this. That's really all there is to go out and creating a bot. I define topics. Those topics have got trigger phrases, okay? I can define a new topic simply by clicking over here, typing in a title, defining some trigger phases, and then once I've done that, I can move into the authoring canvas. All right, so that was our topics overview and bot testing. Now we're going to get to the fun part of this presentation, and we are going to build a virtual bartender bot. So this particular bartender bot is going to end up with 3 topics. The first topic is going to be the bartender topic. And the purpose of the bartender topic is to do an age verification. We are going to ask the user how old they are. And if they're over 21, we'll let them order an alcoholic drink. And if they're under 21, we're going to send them to a non-alcoholic drink topic. So there's going to be some trigger phases we're going to want to set up for our topic, like drink, thirsty, parched, beer. And these trigger phrases, if that word appears inside of there, it's going to actually kick off that trigger phase. So once we set up that trigger phase, it will then ask for age verification and route to our other topics based on the user age. When we're done, we can route it back to a system topic to confirm success and ask them if there's anything else that they need. All right, so let's get started. We're going to build our bartender bot. We're going to test our bartender bot, and then we'll publish our bartender bot. All right. So popping back over here, I'm going to call this bartender bot. Okay. And it's going to be order a virtual drink. So what are some of those trigger phases? I said drink. I said thirsty. I said parched. Oops. Parched. That's not right. Let's go ahead and fix that. I'm going to try that again. Parched. Let's try beer. Let's try wine. Let's try soda. Oh, did it again. See? And I'll delete that one because I don't really want soda. I want soda. Okay. So now I've got a few trigger phases. So I'm going to go ahead and save this topic first to make sure that I'm saving the topic and I have it corrected. Now I can move into the authoring canvas, right? So I go over to the authoring canvas. In this, I'll be able to go out and say, what do I want this to actually build out? All right, so this is going to be the fun part. All right, so now that I'm in my bartender bot, and I've got my trigger phase set up, the first thing I want to do is I want to actually ask about the age verification. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a message first, all right? Just because it makes it nice and easy. I want to make sure that I say, hello, I'm the bartender bot. I can see if you drink, but only if you're over 21 years old. Now I'm going to ask you a question. So very easy for me just to go ahead and click the plus button. I can do that in between or down here. And so you can see I can ask a question, call an action, show a message, which I did before, transfer to a different topic, or even end my conversation by a survey or transferring to an agent if I want to. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and say I want to ask a question. So what is the question I want to ask? It's how old are you? How old are you? And in this case, I could do multiple choice, right? But we actually have a series of built-in entities that are built into the bot framework that make it a lot easier. Multiple choices out there. I can grab the entire response. Notice I can grab Booleans. I could look for city names extracted from a string, looking for colors, trying to pull out continents or countries, date and times, durations, pulling out emails or events or languages. There's a whole bunch of things that I can actually go out and look at inside of here that we can use, that we can actually ask to make sure that we're getting the right response back. In this case, one of the pre-built ones I have is age. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this into a variable that I'm going to call age, okay? And so I now have variable age, okay? And at this point in time, this is going to go down here and allow me to go ahead and ask my question, and then I can go ahead and put in a condition. So my condition is going to be based on the age. If it is greater than or equal to 21, right? What do I want to do? Well, that's where I'm going to tell people, hey, great. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and show a message, and I'm going to say, great to have you in the virtual bar. You can order an alcoholic drink. Okay? If they aren't 21, right? I'll come over here and I'll go ahead and show them a message, and I will tell them, I'm sorry you're not 21 years old, so you can only have non-alcoholic drinks. So I'm going to go ahead and save that, and we can actually test this if we want to. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to track between topics over here on my test bot. This lets me see where I'm going in different ones, and I'm going to go say hello to my bot, and that's actually going to take me to the greeting, okay? And at this point, it's back waiting for me to say something. And I'm going to say, I am really thirsty. At that point, it takes me to my bartender bot, right? I've automatically redirected based upon what I typed in. Now, I could have not said hello. I could have said, I am really thirsty, and it would take me straight to there. And you'll see it says, hello, I'm the bartender bot. How old are you? I'm going to say I am 51 because that's actually how old I am. I type that in, and you'll say, great to have you in the virtual bar. You can now order an alcoholic drink. Wonderful. So at this point, we need to do something, right? Now, I said before, we're going to do this through a series of topics. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the topic level, and we're going to create a new topic. And I'm going to call this one adult beverage. And this is going to let me order an adult beverage. Okay? And this doesn't have any trigger phrases. I don't want this to kick off immediately. I could say, give me a beer, give me a wine, give me a scotch, something like that. But in this case, I actually want this to be triggered, not triggered directly. I want it to be triggered from another topic. So I'm going to go to the authoring canvas, and we're going to go ahead and set up this particular topic right now. Now, this one could get really complex, and in my full-fledged demo, I'll show you guys at the end, it's actually pretty complex. But what we're going to do here is we're going to start by asking a question, right? What is that question I want to go ahead and ask? What type of drink would you like? And here I will use multiple choice. And so I'll say I would want a beer. Whoops. I could spell beer correctly, right? I might want wine, okay? And I might want, say, a mixed drink. So there's three options there. Notice down here I can go ahead and say, what do I want to call this variable? I'm actually going to call this variable drink type, okay? And you'll see down below that it's gone ahead and put in my conditions for me. My message down here, the reason I've got a topic checker error, right, is this message down here, I don't have a message inside of it right now. So the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do and say, okay, well, what if I say wine? What do I actually want to do? And I could say, well, let me ask you another question. What type of wine? And once again, multiple choice, I'll say Chardonnay, and I'll say Pinot Noir. So I've got a red and I've got a white, okay? And this variable will be called variable wine, okay? And now down here, I set up my two conditions for my wine, Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. And down here, when I put that in there, I can say, I want to add a message, okay? And my message is going to be, here is some virtual Chardonnay. Enjoy. And over here under Pinot Noir, I'm going to say some virtual Pinot Noir goes virtually everything. All right. At this point, I'm kind of ready to test. I'm going to go ahead and delete this particular one because I don't care, right? And the last thing I want to do is once I've given somebody a drink, right, I actually want to end this entire thing. And so I'm going to go to another topic, right? And the one I want to go to is confirm success or confirmed failure. So if I thought I failed, I'm going to ask them, did I fail? If I thought I succeeded, I'm going to go to confirm success. And you'll see here that I've got this confirmed success. Now what I want to do is I want this one to also go over here. Now this is a little tricky. I can't quite connect these, and I could simply add another redirect. But what I can also do is once I actually have a box out here and I have my little endpoint, I can drag this endpoint over there. And you'll see that now both of these are going to confirm success. However, it also took that message and orphaned it up here. So I've got to go up here and delete it, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and save this at this point in time. We've actually gone out now and I've set this up to where my original greeting topic can say hello. I can then send somebody over to my bartender topic. My bartender topic can send them, if they're over 21, to this particular topic, and then this particular topic. And I've only built out the wine tree right now, but that can take them down to let them choose what kind of wine they want. And then once they've chosen a wine, I can actually say, here's your wine, and then here is a confirmed success. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So I'm going to go back and say hello again, which takes me back to the greeting bot, okay? And you'll see it's going to take me back over to the topic and show me that I'm in the greeting bot. How can I help you with today? I am really thirsty. And notice I just use the word thirsty, right, as one of my things. I could have said I want a glass of wine. I could have said I'd like some wine. Those were all trigger phases for this particular bartender bot. So the bartender bot says, hey, I'm here to serve you a bot. Are you over 21 years of age? Well, yes, I'm 51. So I'm going to go ahead and type in 51. And it says, oh, see, here we go. What did I not do here? This is what I didn't do. I actually need to connect my bartender bot to the other topic. So I can go down here to my other topic and say, connect this to adult beverage. I'm going to go ahead and save, right? Now I'll go back over here and say, I would love a glass. Oh boy, pretty bad typing today. Love a glass of wine. Okay. And did I mean the bartender bot? Yes, I want the bartender bot. How old are you? I'm 51. I'm still 51. I haven't turned 52 yet, although this seems like it's taking forever. At that point, it said, great to have you in the virtual bar. You can order an alcoholic drink, and immediately transferred me over to the adult beverage topic. Once I was in the adult beverage topic, right, now it says, what type of drink would you like? Now, understand, I'm actually asking here. I haven't built out the beer and the mixed drink, so I'm only going to go down the wine. So I'm going to say wine. It says, what kind would you like? I'm going to say Pinot Noir, because that's the kind of wine I like. And it says, great, here's your virtual Pinot Noir, going with virtually anything, right? And then it says, now that I've done that, tell me how good this experience was. And I'll say, man, that was excellent. I got a nice glass of virtual Pinot Noir. That was wonderful. And then it says, hey, thank you for your feedback. Can I help you with anything else? And if I said yes, right, it's going to say, go ahead, I'm listening. And it's going to send me back to the whole concept of waiting to see what trigger phrase I type in. If I say no thanks, it's going to say goodbye, and it's going to essentially end this conversation. Thanks for chatting with me. Now I'm done. And in reality, the bot is still waiting for information to come in. Okay? So this takes us down this particular process. Okay? So I wanted to show that to you to see how we develop it, how we hand off between different areas, and how we actually go out and test this. Once we've tested this, we're actually ready to publish it. Okay? So publishing is actually pretty straightforward. We have this concept of channels that we deal with. And so these are the different channels that I can publish to. You'll see that there's a demo website. The nice thing about the demo website is if I just click on this, it's going to go out and create a website for me. Okay. And I can take that URL, I can drop it into a browser. And when I go ahead and hit enter, it's going to take me to a Power Virtual Agent testing website. And now I can go over here and it interacts exactly the same way as I did before. I can even say wine, and it's going to take me, oh, I've got to publish it. See, there we go. See what I didn't do first? Glad I remembered. All right. The channel was saved. Wonderful. But I need to publish it. So I can configure my channels. And so let me stop for a second and go back to this whole concept of channel configuration. Demo website's great, right? Custom website means what this is going to give me is the information that I need to embed this in an iframe inside of my custom website. If it does single sign-on, in other words, if it's actually we're getting a sign-on inside of this, I have to enable single sign-on, but I can go ahead and embed this or even share it to email and copy this code and embedding my bot inside of a page. Pretty straightforward. I can add my bot to a native or web-based mobile app. I can connect it with my customers on Messenger. Now, this one as an example is a little bit more complex. While it's relatively straightforward on this side, the Facebook side is a little bit more complex. We have to set up a Facebook app ID, the app secret, what page it's associated with, the callback URL, the verify token, all of that kind of stuff, right? Same is true of Slack. If I want to make Slack work, I have to do the same kind of thing. Microsoft Teams is also a little bit more complex. I actually have to create an app manifest for this. You can do that using the app manifest builder inside of Microsoft Teams. It's very easy, or you can hand code the file yourself. But inside of Microsoft Teams, there is an application that you can load that lets you build applications inside of it and edit the manifest. And if you simply follow this particular web page right here, this will take you step by step through every process that you have to do to actually roll this out. Okay. These are all the different channels. Some of them require actual work, like for example, email. I can do an email hook, but I have to have something that's actually reading and responding to those emails and then handing them off to the bot to actually do things. okay? Once I have my channel set up, in this case, my demo website, I'm ready to go publish it, okay? So I'll go ahead and publish this content. That is what makes it visible to the outside world. My testing is all internal. Once I've published, this bot will come available in the next 15 minutes or so. Sometimes it's that so, sometimes it's a little bit faster. Let's see if it's actually ready over here. I'm going to go ahead and refresh this page, and let's see if it's going ahead and start working. If not, I have one that's I've already published. We can go ahead and take a look at, and I can say hello over here, and let's see if it's actually loaded. Hey, it's already working. See, it didn't take 15 minutes. It was a lot faster than that. So just like before, there's the virtual agent. How can I help you today? I would like a wine, a glass of wine, because I haven't built out the other ones, right? It's going to say, oh, I'm the Bartender Bot. Well, how old are you? Well, I'm going to say I'm only 18 today. It's going to say, I'm sorry, you're not 21 years old, so you can only have non-alcoholic drinks. And in my full bot example, I've actually taken this out to where that takes them down to where they can order a soft drink, they can order some juice, they can order a bottle, some water if they want to. So through this entire process, I can go through this, and I can say when I'm done, I can say goodbye, and it'll say, thanks for chatting with me, goodbye. This entire thing, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make this interaction feel very natural to people, okay? All right, so I've taken through now the process of building a bot, showing you how we can have different channels that are out there. There's a couple of things that I haven't shown you yet that aren't related to the bots that I've been building, but that I can go ahead and kind of demonstrate to you. There's a couple of cool things that are out here that we can do as well. I talked to you a little bit about integrations that you have with other bots. And so as I go down inside of here, when I look at adding an action, the question made sense. Condition, yeah, that makes pretty much sense. This call an action button. What call an action does is it actually goes out and says, hey, have you registered any applications that are out there? Okay, that connect. In this case, I've actually registered an identity authentication secret with Azure Active Directory. That means that I could actually go here and say, hey, I want to call this action. I can also create a flow that goes to Power Automate, launches a Power Automate, and that is with the trigger action of a Power Virtual Agent. That will enable me then to actually do whatever I can do in Power Automate inside of a flow. So one of the ways I've thought of using this is I could actually create a bot that lets people add members to a team or requests a team. Pretty much the sky's the limit, because once I'm into flow, I can make calls out to Azure functions at that point in time. There I can run code, there I can run PowerShell. I can pretty much automate anything at that point in time, tying it back into this Power Virtual Agent. Show message, pretty straightforward. It's just giving me a message. Go to another topic. I actually showed you how to do that in the end of the conversation. So the one thing I wanted to show you was this call an action, okay? So one thing I'll do here real quick to kind of show you how I have this already set up. I'm going to go back to a bot I've already set up, which is called Testing Bot. And this is one where I've actually gone out and set up an authentication inside of here already. So this particular authentication has actually got a topic that's designed when you actually do the greeting, okay? If I go down here and show you what's going on inside of the greeting, and I go to the authoring canvas, it's actually got, it's actually set up to actually make you log in using Active Directory at that point in time. And you can see it's prompting a user with a sign-in card, and then basically, did I log the person in? And if great, I say they're logged in. Otherwise, I say there was an issue logging you in, and what would you like to do next? Retry or talk to an agent, right? So if I go over here and say hello, same bot, right? It's using the good bot, the bot. It says, oh, I need you to log in. When I click login, it's going to take me to a standard login page. Right now, I'm already logged in, so it passed my credentials right along. I need to take this validation code and I need to paste it into the chat window. And that's the way the login works. Once I've done that, it says, hey, you're now logged in, right? The way that works pretty simple and straightforward. Right now, that's the only thing that's out there, but you can actually create links to other applications as well, and you're going to manage all of that inside of this authentication area. All right. Last thing I'm going to do is actually show you guys the full bot over here. Okay. So this is the full bot that I developed inside of another tenant. So here's the virtual bartender bot, right? I've got a bunch of different phrases inside of this virtual bartender bot. You can see it does all the exact same things, and it redirects to alcoholic drink and it redirects to soft drink. If I go take a look at, for example, soft drink, it's going to go out, no trigger phrases once again, right? It now comes out there and says, oh, okay, what kind of drink would you like to drink? Soda, water, juice. And then if you choose, for example, juice, it says, do you want to drink apple, orange, or cranberry? And then it provides you that, and then all of them come back to this confirmed success. And I can actually scroll out to kind of give you a far out view of this. It's actually, you can't read anything at this point in time, but you can kind of see the way this is designed to work. And then I can zoom in on any of the different areas inside the canvas. If they choose water, do you want bottled water? Here I'm saying yes or no. If they say yes, here's a nice virtual water, here's a virtual glass of water, and then I'm off to the same thing. Now, with this particular one, what I did was I actually set up a couple of channels inside of here. One of the channels I set up back in my original tenant was I've got this embedded in Microsoft Teams. And so you can see this M365 VM bot over here, our virtual marathon bot. It says, hi, I'm a virtual agent. What do you want to do? I'd like a drink. And you're going to see now I'm inside of Teams. It's going to give me the exact same things. Hey, how old are you? 51. What would I like? It's going to say, great to have you in the virtual bar. What would you like to drink? I say I'm going to want a beer. Okay. Well, what kind of beers do I have? I've got a few types of beer. What would you like? Bud Light, Shiner Bock, Dos Equis? I'll say Dos Equis. I like Dos Equis. Well, you are virtually the most interesting patron I've ever served. Have a virtual Dos Equis. And then, great. Please rate your experience from 1 worst to 5 best. Well, I'll say 5 because that virtual Dos Equis was virtually amazing. Thank you for your feedback. Can I do anything? Can I help with anything else? I'll say yes. I'm listening. I am still thirsty. Oops, I'm not in my thing. I'll just say thirsty. Okay. And I'm right back where I started. I'm going to get right back to the bartender bot. How old am I? I'll say I'm 18 this time. And now you'll see I can go through this entire process. What would you like to drink? I'll say I want to do water, right? It's going to come back and say, do you want a bottled water? Yes or no? I'll say no. I don't want a bottled water. Oh, here's a virtual glass of water. That wasn't all that great. I'll say a 3. Okay. Now, the reason I went through this and answered it a couple of times for you guys is to show you that over inside of here, we actually have analytics around our bot. And I can actually go out and see what's been happening with my bot that's out here. Okay. So here's a whole bunch of things that's going to track a whole bunch of sessions I've had, abandon rate, resolution rate, engagement. I can actually go through each session and look at a whole bunch of this information that I'm looking at. I can look at customer satisfaction because I'm doing that quote at the end and find out my average CSAT is 4.8. I can see where my engaged sessions out here as well. All right. That takes us back to our summary at the end. So we can create responsive bots. We can use them in multiple channels. We can integrate easily into Power Automate, allowing us to automate tasks. If we have Dynamics 365, we can pass off to an agent. If we have the bot SDK 4.7 or later, we can take already developed skills, or we can develop our own skills. That integration with Power Automate can do almost anything that's out there. And the most important thing is we can actually enrich our end user experiences by meeting them where they are, when they are, regardless of that device. All right. Now I'll pop over and we'll take a couple of questions. And actually, I'm gonna go through while we're queuing up the questions over here, and I see a couple of them over there. I'm gonna go ahead and go through and show you. Here's some links and contact info. By the way, all of these slides will be posted afterwards, and we'll have recordings available on the conference YouTube channel. You can follow me on Twitter at dbroussard. I'm on Facebook at dbroussard. I'm on LinkedIn at dbroussard. My email is dbroussard. I am also one of the hosts of the Cloud Whisperers podcast, which you can find at fb.me Cloud Whisperers. If you want to sign up for Power Virtual Agents, that's the link for it. Just click on it and go, or just do a Bing search for Power Virtual Agents. Here's the link to the Microsoft documentation. They've actually got a bunch of tutorials inside of there that takes you through the step-by-step of how to do this stuff. And by the way, if you want to try out that Bartender Bot, it'll probably be out there for, I think I've got it out there till about June 6th. So it's going to be another week or so before that entire tenant goes away. Then at that point in time, I can't guarantee it's going to work anymore, but there's a bit.ly link to go out to that Bartender Bot and give it a try. Thank you once again to all of our sponsors. Make sure you enter the raffle so you can go ahead and win one of those Oculus Quests. It's got to be better. Please donate to the International Medical Corps, the United Way, or some charity. Let's take care of people. We need to be all in this together and help everybody out. And then lastly, here are the QR codes for the speaker feedback and the event feedback. All right. So let me go over here and hit some of these questions that are over here already. So a session means a user posing a question to a bot. Yes, that's my understanding of what a session means. Somebody hits that bot, enters into a conversation with them, and reaches a resolution. Okay. The workflow process, I agree, Mahid, is very, very easy. I love the fact that it's no code. It's actually even easier to do than, say, flows, which I think flows are pretty easy. But actually, I think the way you actually author stuff inside of here is actually even easier to use than that. So so one of the things that you also asked, you can start a workflow and flow from the bot. Once you've actually gone out and identified that you want something to happen, you do that call action that will go out and hit the bot. That will go out and hit the Power Automate flow. The flow will be instantiated, and then from there you can do all the different things that you can do inside of this. The YouTube channel for the M365 VM, I think it's M365 VM, but I'll tell you what, the best place to do is to go back to the Microsoft 365 Virtual Marathon session, and when you get there, you'll be able to actually identify where the YouTube channel is. Is it possible to fill out a form from the bot? Well, you could, right? And so by form, you could mean a couple of different things. You could mean a Microsoft form, you could mean a Power App, something like that. So in theory, I could go through a bot and I could actually go through a series of questions and ask somebody what to do. And in fact, one of my coworkers, Reza Doriani, who's been doing a couple of great sessions on the AI Builder and in Power Apps, he actually turned me onto this thing, and what he did was he actually set up a Power Virtual Agent that you actually asked a couple of questions. It said, hey, I want to create a team. It says, great, what do you want to call the team? I want to call it X. Okay. Do you want this to be public or private? I want it to be public. What do who do you want? Do you want to add any users to it? Yes. Who are the users you want to add? Added those things together. All of that together is essentially similar to the Power App form that we had built for filling out and requesting a team. Once we were done, we actually could take that and copy it over and place it into and put it into a get the words wrong. Power Automate flow, and then the flow would go out and make calls to the Graph API and actually provision the team and add the appropriate users to it. So we actually filled out all of the information that somebody had from a series of questions inside of a Power Virtual Agent. So filling out a form, hey, this is a great conversational way to do it, as opposed to just saying, here's a table, type in all this information. And it also is kind of nice because as they put questions in, we can actually route them to different areas, just like we can hide and show different parts of a form. So hopefully that answers that question. Yes, once a bot is published, you can certainly go out and edit it. Any ongoing sessions are going to run in the current bot, but once I go ahead and republish my new changes, the new bot is out there in that new form. So once the flow is finished, right? Think of it kind of as passing off to the flow. The flow goes out and does its thing. The bot at that point in time doesn't really know what's happening in the flow. So the flow was, if I call a flow in Power Automate, do I get back to the bot after the flow is finished? And so the answer to that is, well, yes and no. In reality, what happens is I trigger my flow goes and runs. The bot itself on that end is going to go actually pop out there and continue working. And I'll tell you what I'll do just to go ahead and take a look at this, right? If we go back into here and I can kind of show you guys what this looks like, I'll go ahead and pull up my virtual bartender one here, and I'll go to the authoring canvas as an example, and we'll just go down here and we'll add a call to a flow. So when I say call an action, I say create a flow. It's actually going out and creating a Power Automate flow over here that is using the virtual agent trigger. Okay. But if you come back over here, right, I'm not actually done yet. So it hasn't actually built this. Well, actually, no, I haven't gone through and even built this out yet. Sorry, I haven't been into Power Automate in this particular one. So let it go ahead and finish. Just take a couple of seconds for it to do its setup, and you'll see that it actually goes out and does a flow. One of the interesting things about this is it actually is looking for inputs, okay? So it's expecting certain inputs to come from the Power Virtual Agent. Is it a number? Is it a yes, no? Is it a text? And then it returns values to the Power Virtual Agent, a text, a yes, no, or a number. I'm limited to those things over here. But for example, I could go ahead and say, what is my input? What is my input here that's text? And then I can go ahead and say output, and the value that I actually want to respond is whatever the person gave me. I could go ahead and save this now. And now I've actually got this Power Virtual Agent bot created. And when I go back to my Power Virtual Agent, it'll actually show up in the list of bots that I can actually use. Okay, so now that I have that created, I should be able to go over here and say call an action. And there is my flow template that I said. And it's going to say, hey, what variable do I want to use? And it doesn't have any variables right now. So what I may want to do is go ahead and add right above this, ask a question, right? And I want to just go ahead and grab the user's response and say, what is your quest? Okay, take the user's response, stick this into a var called quest, okay? And then down here, I can pass var quest in, and it's going to bring the output back to me. And I can actually go down here and say, show a message, and I could actually insert that quest right there. And so if I wanted to at this point in time, I could go over here and say, let me go ahead and save this, and I'll go ahead and say beer to go ahead and click this particular phrase off. I need to go ahead and, oh, what happened there? Let's try that again. Somehow or other, I managed to go backwards. I'll say beer. You'll see that it goes out and says, how old are you? I'll say 21. It's going to take me down that path. It's going to say, what is your quest? I seek the Holy Grail. Okay. It passed that off to the flow. The flow came back and said, I seek the Holy Grail. Great. So that's a two-way process. All right, so I think we are good. This has gone on a couple of minutes over, and I need to be able to hand this off to the next person. I want to thank you guys very, very much for this. I really appreciate the interaction and the questions. Once again, I'll go back to my slide deck. Here's the feedback forms. If you want to go out and actually test out this bot, I'm going to put this up here on, there it is. There's the Bartender Bot. There is the bit.ly, and I'm going to go ahead and take that bit.ly real quick. Whoops. Hang on. And I've actually got that someplace. Let me, yeah, this thing is just driving me crazy today. My PowerPoint slide deck has now completely and totally disappeared, but I'm going to go ahead and take that particular bit.ly link and I'll put it into the questions as an announcement so that if anybody wants to go out and actually play around with that, they will be able to go out and do that. So there is my bit.ly. Please feel free to follow me on Twitter. I would love, or on Facebook, any of those places. I would be happy to hook up with you guys, answer your questions. Check out the Cloud Whisperers podcast. I hope it's entertaining and enjoyable, and I really appreciate you guys showing up. Thank you very much.